So this week's brand discussion is going to feature imagery from Target Corporation, a major retailer. I decided we should probably pick brands from different fields. So this will be the retail one. Okay, Target is a very well-known brand. One of the reasons I selected Target was that they have their own internal brands. So they have quite a few different ones. Up is one of their brands, and they have a couple others that you'll see as you're flipping through the slides. That's not uncommon. We know that Safeway and Fred Meyer's or Kroger, whoever you want to call it, they all have their own internal brands for their own selections, whether it be their own organics or their own whatever it is. And those are sub-brands within the main brand itself, which is whatever the corporation's brand happens to be. Okay, so this week we are talking about brand constructs, strategic advantages. So defining a construct. A brand construct is a conceptual strategic platform that has been systematically planned and developed for a brand. It is a point of departure for differentiating and positioning the brand. A brand construct allows a designer to generate concepts, to focus ideas and directions. Implicit in each construct must be the following markers, which are indicators for potential growth and efficacy. Differentiation. Okay, your brand has to differentiate itself. Ownership. Claude Hopkins may have been the person to originate the idea of ownership or owning a selling point or benefit. In 1923, he wrote a book titled Scientific Advertising, which explains his notion of ownership. Okay, so ownership. Consistency. The construct must allow for flexibility in the generation of the individual ideas, whether for a brochure, website, annual report, ad campaign, or whatever. Okay, it has to permit a consistent brand voice, a consistent tone established in all verbal and visual communications. Relevance. A successful brand must embody a quality that is relevant to the audience. We kind of hammered that home last week. Delivering the brand promise. To work, any construct must be consonant with the brand promise, the function or emotional advantage and value pledged to the user. No brand application can exist in isolation. If the brand experience is to resonate, there must be consonance among all applications and must deliver on the brand promise. Delivering the brand promise is paramount. Branding construct approaches. There are many possible constructs as there are creative tactics to solving any problem. A construct is utilized for new brands, brand mergers, and brand revitalizations. The following are a few respected approaches that are flexible enough to generate different approaches and ideas. There are many more constructs than are included here. These examples are just to help you understand constructs and to show how to formulate a construct. So, heritage. A brand's history can be of considerable interest and value to a current audience. The status and character emanating from a particular esteemed company can accrue over time and be emphasized in a brand construct. An esteemed heritage is a positive feature that audience seem to respect. Brands you might think of for things like this would be Harley Davidson. Okay, that has some deep heritage. Lionel Trains, deep heritage that still resonates with current users and current audiences. Unique brand strengths. Most products or services are not distinguished by their functional benefits or uniqueness. They are parity of products, companies, and services distinguished by branding and advertising. If there is a unique brand out there and it's successful, copies are sure to follow. However, there are brands that have strengths, perhaps even unique strengths, which might be intangible or acquired by virtue of their history in a product category, by their consistent quality, or by their communities who have adopted them. That type of strength can be the basis of your conceptual platform. Interestingly, you can take a disadvantage and turn it into a unique strength, as did Doyle Dane Bernbach Agency in the late 1950s and 1960s for the Volkswagen Beetle. The Beetle was smaller than American cars and not streamlined like American cars of the same period. DDB turned the Beetle's potential drawbacks into selling points. Think small. It's ugly, but it gets you there. Trying to position an athletic shoe in today's glutted market would seem almost impossible. Sandstrom Design took on the challenge and succeeded for Converse by highlighting the brand's unique strengths. Converse actually is a very historic brand too. It has made boots for World War I. Forward thinking. For some audiences, the idea that a brand is forward-looking, that is, planning for the future, is crucial. One might think that this type of brand platform would be limited to brands such as biotechnology-based companies or avant-garde art organizations. In truth, this platform can be a springboard for innumerable brand types and groups with an emphasis on progressive thinking, such as an education consortium. The standard. Establishing a brand as the authority, the accepted norm of quality as experts, positions a brand as the benchmark in the category and builds confidence in the brand by the user. For example, many perceive Starbucks as being the authority over coffee. People consider Jeep to be the authority over 4x4 automobiles, things like that. Down to earth. Sometimes the brand communicates, we're just regular folks like you. For example, the advertising campaign for Motel 6 featured on-air personality Tom Bodett saying, we'll leave a light on for you. This brand is so friendly and down to earth, like Aunt Elle and Uncle Bob, they're leaving the light on for us. We can relate. What this type of construct is really saying is that down deep we're all kin, and we should treat each other with decency and respect and offer tender, loving care. Community. A creative director friend who is 50 years old bought a neon green Volkswagen Beetle. One day he is driving along. A very young, attractive woman in another car honked her horn at him and waved. She can't be waving at me because she wants to meet me, he thought. Then he realized that she too was driving a Volkswagen Beetle. They belonged to the same club. Many of us yearn to belong, and brands can offer us brand communities to belong to. Owning certain brands or utilizing certain brand services also give us official badges or insider passes to certain lifestyles or brotherhoods. For many, belonging is important. If you can create a believable group, community, lifestyle, or attitude for a brand, it will become identifiable and memorable. And people may just want to belong to the club you've created. Apple would be a massive example of that particular kind of concept or construct. Expressing company values. When a company or group has values, which would be a philosophy, principles, or standards that people respect, those values can be expressed in the brand strategy to an advantage. For example, a company concerned with environmental issues may base its construct in that viewpoint, or a company may stress innovation. Personal. Any concept that can make a corporation seem more like an individual than a huge impersonal company is valuable. You're talking with a person rather than a company is the message that Kessel's Kramer wants to express in their brand identity for Ben. This personalized approach and friendly, understanding tone of voice deliberately veers away from the corporate doublespeak so inherent to the mobile phone industry. Provenance. Vodka should be from Russia. See the USA in your Chevrolet. Kent cloth should be woven in Ghana. Switch wash movements are more precise. Pasta sauce has to be Italian to taste good. There is something to be said for having native character roots, as it were. When there's a country behind your brand, the appropriate country that is, then your brand is perceived to be authentic. A fundamental source of or origin is the implication. However, you've got to make sure that you are perceived as the all-Russian vodka, Levi's, the all-American blue jean, these kinds of things. Cutting edge or techie. If a brand is technologically based or based in a business that must be current to be viable, and it is not perceived to be on the cutting edge, then it will lose in the marketplace. Believing that the products and services at the forefront of research with the latest information or newest technology are better or ahead of the others, many people prefer them. This entirely reasonable assumption can easily be used to build a construct. We understand. Hey, you understand me. It is a desired response from an audience member. That greatly valued reaction can be prompted by how a brand construct manifests itself, both verbally and visually. Humor. When brands don't take themselves too seriously, when they have a sense of humor about themselves, a certain type of audience may find that appealing. Not only does it say something about the brand's attitude, it also immediately identifies its audience. An audience that appreciates a wink and a nudge humor or even gross out humor. Brands using this platform set up a kind of reverse exclusivity. For example, the always amusingly iconic work from the agency Kessel Kramer for the Hans Binker budget hotels. We think created this ad for... so one particular case would be if we think about Mountain Dew, okay? How much fun those people are having playing and skateboarding or skiing or whatever it is. We all want to kind of do that. So it's extreme fun. Red Bull, extreme fun would be brands like that. Like mother, like daughter, or not. If you ever read Nancy Friday's classic book about mother-daughter relationships, My Mother, Myself, or any self-help book on parent-child relationships, then you have a good handle on this category. However, the psychology extends to fathers and sons, and fathers and daughters, and mothers and sons. Pretty much it boils down to three categories of how people relate brands to their parents. If I use the soap my mother used, then I'm just like mom. Or I'm loyal to mom's values and judgment. Her brand choice is my brand choice. I'd never use the soap my mom used. I'm me. I make my own decisions. I want to separate myself as soon as possible. Okay? I'm doing one of the above, but don't know it. Okay? Your client's brand may be suitable for taking a route that involves family tradition or the handing down of family advice. Or it may be relevant to your audience and your client's brand to come off as rebellious, not in the continuity with the family's social customs or values. On one occasion, when I asked students if they used the shampoo that their parents buy, a 20-year-old female student replied, "Are you kidding? I pay $14 for my shampoo, and it's for my hair, so it's worth the price. My mom buys junk. There's a brand platform in there somewhere. Image. A product has an image in the mind of the consumer. That image is based on and associated with a look, mood, art direction, emotional connotation of the brand, design of the brand identity, ads, or the models cast for the ads. Large constructs can be based on and form associations with a concept, such as fantasy, ruggedness, or peace, an individual, an aesthetic or beauty standard, a celebrity, a lifestyle, that is urban, suburban, corporate, sophisticated, sporty, or country club, or a mood. Image is virtually a category separate from conceptual branding and advertising. What an image construct does is create a mystique or air about a brand. Almost always, the reason image branding is employed is that the client's brand is absolutely interchangeable with all the other brands in its class. Products such as fragrance, liquor, beer, low-end sparkling wines, cosmetics, energy drinks, clothing, shoes, jewelry, soft drinks. Okay, all about the same in terms of quality and benefits. In their product category and class, that is the same price range. The only reason to choose a costly pair of jeans over another one is personal, coming down to personal fit, taste, and lifestyle. If you're not sure which high-end lip gloss to buy, then the image construct, brand identity, and packaging may lure you. Perhaps you prefer a sophisticated image. Maybe an urban trendsetter image appeals to you. You have to buy something, so you're going to buy an image to go on your lip gloss. Go with your lip gloss. Attitude. When models in ads glare at you with a seeming conceit, bold, or impudent manner, they've got attitude. When models posture themselves, whether it's reflective of fringe culture, music, or youth culture, they have attitude. Their attitude is in your face. It's all about presence, demeanor, and omnipresent air. It doesn't have to be model's attitude. It can be expressed through the name of the brand, Dirty Boy Soap, the logo or design of the packaging. However, it all must be consistent across the brand experience. Many audiences are totally responsive to brands with attitude, whether the attitude is arrogant, mannered, wry, irreverent, tongue-in-cheek, chic, cool. This construct can be related to image. Even a bank can have attitude. A classic one for that would be beer. All the new beers have to have funky, weird names. That's their attitude. Original. There's something about being an original that people seem to like, whether the product or service was actually the original or not. It is perceived to be the first or the original. People seem to think that equals superior, more informed, even magical. Being first in a category, whether it is a product, service, company, group, individual, issue, social cause, or charity, seems to imply that the brand is a unique entity from which imitations or alternative versions follow. Interestingly, many brands that are originals in a category can end up losing to competitors who follow in their footsteps. For a variety of reasons, including improvements made by the competitors, better branding and advertising by competitors, and basic public taste and perception, among many other factors. However, to regain equity and value derived from being an original, this construct can be employed. For example, if a brand positions itself as not being derived or being derivative or creative, which in this case means demonstrated by being first, the public will be reminded of that magical quality that comes from being an original. If a brand is an original, that brand characteristic should be used to seed the brand construct. Some audience want to buy brands that are folksy. Some want a brand to be approachable. Others prefer an upscale look and feel, or sophisticated. Can baby wear be sophisticated? Sure. Lieber Brewster was asked to rebrand Absorba for the U.S. market. Anna Lieber, president of Lieber Brewster, comments, "We wanted to create a striking, vibrant mood while focusing on the details of the clothing. The concept emphasizes the worldly, exotic, self-reflective European sensibility to position Absorba as a desirable, upscale, lifestyle brand. I can't imagine anything more about a baby other than being worldly, exotic, self-reflective, and European." Icon personalities. When there's a family behind the brand or quality, or it's a down-home kind of product that consumers equate with quality assurance, whether it's Frank Perdue, Tom Crevel, Orville Redenbacher, or Ford Chairman William Ford, these brand owners make us realize that there's a family tradition behind a company facade. Look no further than Wendy's, using Dave Thomas as a spokesman to understand the importance of thinking the owner was standing in every Wendy's kitchen overseeing the food production.